Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 6th day of October 2025. The expose at JKIA about cocaine highway 3 days ago paints a bad picture on Nairobi as the heart of international drug scandal. I have been following this story closely. Despite of it being a big scandal, I have been keenly waiting for our diplomatic guys, the foreign affairs guys, to respond. Probably a statement from DCI or JKIA, or even someone from State House to give a statement. And I can tell you, 3 days counting, no one has responded. While the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, has gotten a fodder and is taking this scandal at Wananchi's doorstep, reminding him how evil, how bad, how things are in the country. In this podcast, I'm going to show you why you need to get worried. Why are they quiet? But I've been following this, and I'm following the case from Heathrow Airport, from the National Crime Agency in UK, and I'm going to give you a mind-boggling expose, a deep dive on something you had not seen about it. Why? We must really get ourselves down to do the right thing. I know you've watched the KTN expose, you've listened to a couple of podcasts around this, but there is a one reason or two why you should listen to my stake, my position in this. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. Thank you very much for being a subscriber of this channel. Subscription is absolutely free, and this is how you subscribe to this channel. If you look at that subscription there, subscription is absolutely free. By the way, I have realized that around 60% of those who watch our videos have not subscribed. So can you just confirm your subscription? Check there. You realize come you subscribe, make sure you subscribe, and you'll be getting our videos whenever we publish them. I have some good news. I'm starting this podcast with good news. Look at this photo. There is that lady there known as Beatrice. So Beatrice, the lady of circle is called Beatrice. We did 2 houses in Embu County. We did a house for Virginia and we did a house for Faith. And we also supported another girl there. And she was our coordinator in Embu. She's called Beatrice. Beatrice was our coordinator. Beatrice is now a chief. Oh, can I tell you why I'm so happy about it? She was actually telling me that when she walked to the interview and she was asked about what she has done for the community, na akawambia amekuwa akifanya na Bold Foundation. And then she did not need an introduction. They felt good of what we did there, and the 2 projects that we did there, zikampatia jina and a very good profile as a community champion. And because of her involvement and how she really supported through us to coordinate for us the 2 projects there, she's a new chief. I'm so happy. And on behalf of this podcast, I want to say congratulations. I can't wait to go to Embu to see Beatrice being crowned as a chief there. And I am so happy because of that impact. At least, when I feel kwamba it's good when something happened to someone, and I really celebrate Beatrice. And one day I'll bring her here so that to encourage, telling us about the work the other end. And please go and serve the people. May God really bless you and give you wisdom and strength as you scale the ladder. Now, the shock of how a foreigner walked into JKIA with a marked glass A and B briefcase, carrying loads of drugs aboard a British Airways flight to Heathrow, only for him to be arrested in UK, is not something that should be taken lightly. And I need to say this. I've looked at the ease of how that gentleman, or that man is just the face. That Dos Santos, this gentleman here, how he navigated the checks, the checkpoints at JKIA for him to go through mpaka apande ndege. He's passed JKIA with so much ease, and that is what is worrying me. For me, it's not that hata amepita JKIA, yani it was so easy, and so many questions run in my mind. Really, ni ngapi zinapita zenye zipatikani? And if that is how people get away with it easily, guys, then how safe are we? Si basi ni sisi ni Mungu tu anatulinda. It's only God who is shielding us. No human being seated somewhere can actually shield us. It paints a lot of questions on these blackouts that always happen at the airport. It's shocking how he got very easily. And Nairobi is getting a bad name. Some 4 Kenyans were also arrested in Singapore. I want to make some few observations why I feel that the silence from Nairobi is very loud on this issue. This gentleman, Delmata Santos, is a Brazilian national who flew on a British passport. Of course, kuingia, lazima ingia kama with a tourist visa within some specific time. And for him to conduct all this could not happen just in some silence, in a vacuum. DCI and the NPS did not respond. If you listen to the Kenyan report, DCI and NPS did not respond when asked about it. Now, the CCTV footages by standard clearly implicated some airport officials and security personnel who really aided the smooth passage of that language. And I don't understand why then the team at JKIA are silent. You know, I was expecting probably they will come to clarify to the country, having seen how the ease of how such an illicit transaction is happening there, the safeguards they're putting moving forward, probably to prevent that or to make sure that operations there are a bit effective. JKIA's CCTV provider is a private firm. There is a big question as to how KTN got that CCTV, but I have an answer. Remember, UK had been conducting investigations on this syndicate. And this Dos Santos is not a first timer in this. In 2021, January, National Crime Agency, Heathrow Airport, arrested someone in a similar manner. And I just want us to read this. A student from Brazil who attempted to smuggle cocaine worth 800,000 pounds into UK the day before Christmas has been jailed. Luan Ivan dos Santos Monteiro, 30, originally from Macapa in Brazil, was questioned by National Crime Agency investigators following his interception at Heathrow on 24th December 2020. An X-ray indicated that he had swallowed around 100 packages containing cocaine, totaling around a kilo in weight before boarding a flight from Sao Paulo. Dos Santos Monteiro was initially detained by Border Force officers at Heathrow Terminal 4 before being handed to the National Crime Agency. He was charged with attempting to import Class A drugs on Christmas Day and appeared before Oxbridge magistrates on Boxing Day. Do you know, there is some similarity between this JKIA expose and what I've just read for you. It is still Dos Santos. So the whole thing looks a decoy. Is it the same person, or is it reincarnation of the same person, or it is the same way? Another thing, this still involves this Heathrow Airport. The other time, and it's still a Brazilian. I've been trying to search around, and if you check the photos, you can compare. This is the person that was arrested in 2021. It was in 2020 December. The story was published in January 29th, 2021. But they shook at 2020. This is the person who was arrested then, and this is the person the William Alishikwa JKIA. Are they the same? They look alike. And there is a possibility that it's the same syndicate. So clearly, a Kenyan there is clearly zoomed there as the facilitator. They clearly zoomed out the Brazilian guy, but the facilitator has not been zoomed. Now, there is this unidentified man, and there was a screenshot from, I think, if you ask me, this was from Cyprian Nyakundi, who shared a screenshot of that gentleman who was at the airport. This gentleman was at the airport. In that CCTV footage standard, the KTN, this is the guy who was also seen helping the guy who was accused. And on one end, the guy was captured taking a photo with Joho. So there have been a lot of, and that is, of course, that is the only photo that was shared, probably to portray that there was a key government officials involved. But not that much has not come into the picture. Of course, why they actually handed over, how they got it, the CCTV footage, is because of the investigation that was being done by the UK officials. There was an undercover team from UK, and I understand that that story was supposed to be actually done by BBC. The whole investigation was actually done by BBC and another private firm that did that investigation. It was not done like by the standard journalists. No. The whole CCTV and all that, the investigation was done by another private firm. And the government was caught red-handed, flat-footed. Opposition, of course, led by Rigathi Gachagua, is taking this information to Wanjiku, putting government on the defensive edge, but no one from the administration is actually responding.
The day before yesterday, drugs are being smuggled through JKIA.
Who in his cabinet is in charge of that?
You have seen the photographs. The people who are smuggling drugs through the airport, you have seen their photographs with the cabinet minister. And everybody knows that cabinet minister who is a drug baron. There are two. And I asked William Ruto, he had put me in charge of fighting drugs and alcoholism. When he was appointing these two ministers, I asked him, Mr. President, where does that leave me? How do I continue with this war on drug abuse when I'll be sitting in the same cabinet with the drug barons? That expose that has happened at the airport, if William Ruto has any decorum remaining, he must sack that minister. The evidence is there. The people who are smuggling drugs through JKIA, the photographs with his minister is there. And you can see clearly that the minister is actually the one who is facilitating, the peddling of the smuggling of drugs through the airport, because the drugs that have been caught, the documentation was saying that they are minerals that are going for testing. So the ministry is being used for drug trafficking because the minister has been a drug baron. And it is in public domain. Everybody knows. There is nobody in this country who doesn't know. But William Ruto has no qualm. Because of his own business interests with that minister and the deals they are doing together, he has no qualms about appointing a fellow involved in drugs to the cabinet when our children are in trouble. How does William Ruto face parents today? And you know, he was telling parents that they are responsible for bad upbringing. When he has appointed ministers who are peddling drugs, they are sitting in his cabinet. When now there is evidence that that minister and his associates are involved in drug trafficking, how does he face parents and accuse them of bad upbringing when his minister, who is his business partner, is involved in drug peddling, cocaine, hard drugs in this country? These are some of the things, Dennis, that got me very tired. And today, in fact, I feel very relieved I'm not part of that government. I don't know how I'll be able now. This week, I would have gone to cabinet after what happened at JKIA. I don't know how I would have gone to sit in that cabinet with that minister when I was in charge of fighting drugs and alcoholism on behalf of government, and then I have to sit with the minister who is facilitating drug trafficking in the country.
Wawaipa askari wa kutembea na yeye, hakuna haja mpatie Kalonzo uongozi mkose kumpatia askari ya kutosha. Watu ya Mwara mumeamua, harambe harambe. Mwisho nikimalizia, huyu William Ruto ametuumiza na mambo ya madawa ya kulevya na mihadarati. Katika baraza la mawaziri amechagua maminista wawili ambaye ni wanaguzi ya madawa ya kulevya. Juzi hapo airport watu wamepatikana, wale wanatembea na waziri wake ambaye ndio wanauza madawa ya kulevya ya cocaine. William Ruto, tunakuambia kama unapenda watoto ya Kenya, hata kama umewapiga risasi, huyu waziri wako ambaye anauza madawa ya kulevya umtimue kutoka baraza la mawaziri. Siko namna hiyo? Harambe harambe. Hi cousin, hi cousin. Sasa mutakuja kutembea wa Monyoro? Mutakuja siku gani? Mutakuja. Watu ya Mwara tutatembea pamoja. Mutachukua kura mpaka majanzi, mpaka wa mama, mpaka wazee. Huyu Kalonzo tutembee na Yesu tutembee. Anatosha atoshi, anaweza hawezi, tutembee na yeye mbele. Mutamshikilia hapa.
No one is responding. I spoke to a Ghana national, someone from Ghana, very good supporter of this channel. And this is something he sent me. Kevin, I arrived early in the morning and I do come to Kenya quite often. And I've actually arrived from Kenya from Withrow, he's saying. I often meet staff sleeping on chairs and tables, huddled around a heater. Others are engaged in long personal conversations, sometimes on phone, sometimes in local languages, with little regard for passengers or their responsibilities. There is no doubt that the work ethic on display is disappointing and far below the standards expected on international gateway, as I have always experienced there. But just take a minute, show us, just get to the comment section. I know most of you have used the JKIA. Mimi sijaitoka nje, but I used it local flight. And of course, that is a different nini altogether. But I recommend the Kisumu guys. They're normally very professional, by the way. That I can attest to. Yeah. The Jumbo Jet in Kisumu, the team is normally very professional, if you ask me. What is your experience on international flight using JKIA? Ukiingia, what is your experience? By the way, what is your experience? It paints a picture on, and that is what is worrying, how things are so easy in it. This story needed a response from Foreign Affairs, Interior, Ministry of Transport, and even powerful personalities that could have been linked to this. But you'll understand why Ruto is caught a bit terrified about this is the fact that alipita JKIA. Unajua, not that he was arrested in JKIA, no. He was arrested in UK. Alipita JKIA. That you can attest to. Alipita JKIA. And this is a worry because the porosity of the airport is actually a security threat. The porosity of, JKIA is not just a transport, it's just not an airport for international flight. It is a security structure for Kenya. If enemies of the country are coming to Kenya, they come through JKIA. Kama watu wanaweza pita hivyo, then about explosives. That is why some of us believe the stories of us supplying arms in Sudan. Because we've actually lowered the standard, the respect, the dignity of JKIA. And I asked, since that story came 4 days ago, no one has responded. Rigathi Gachagua is out in the campaign trail telling the president that you cannot talk about it because probably you know. National intelligence lapses on the lapse on the story is coming out clearly. How? How can that happen without the intelligence not getting a grasp of all that? And that is why that is why you've not seen President Ruto responding to it. The other observation I make here is Kenya is trying to associate itself from the drug syndicate. In fact, I don't think it's not just like someone just came to Kenya, Peter JKIA. No, this could be an international ring. This could be some international ring. You never know. This could be an international ring. And Kenya is just trying to dissociate. So they cannot just rationate. Let me tell you, hey, kitu yenye Ruto anataka, hey, kama hii kitu angekuwa ameshaenda kwa na venye amekuwa na events huku, angekuwa ameongea, jana alikuwa Meru, angeongea hiyo kitu, Vihiga angeongea. Hii watamdhogerea kwacho. Even those who normally talk, memshinda kuongea. Ruto cabinet is deeply implicated in this. I don't know why. But it doesn't take the small boys there, the small people there. You can see if you check the CCTV footage, there was someone being talked to somewhere. And probably he understands that this is just showing the corrosion, how the system is rotten. But one of the most critical factors that to me, that should worry both you and me, is the fact that the ease of such a transaction happening in JKIA. It is too easy, I think, for a country like us. Thank you.